What do I get at the end?
Depends on your answers.
Severance Season 2 wrapped up with a bang, delivering long-awaited answers about Lumen, while still leaving plenty of mysteries to unravel. The biggest revelation? The numbers Mark was refining were linked to his wife Gemma's mind, helping Lumen perfect the Severance chip. Oh, he even managed to free her from the testing floor, but in a shocking twist he chose to stay behind with Helly instead of escaping with Gemma. And yes, there were some answers about those goats too. But so many questions remain. Where does the story go next? What's in store for Mark and Helly? Will Irving make a comeback? Could Mr. Milchick actually turn against Lumen? With Season 3 officially confirmed, more answers are on the horizon. But for now, let's break down the biggest lingering mysteries. Got theories? Drop them in the comments. First up, what's the plan for Mark and Helly? Their escape in the finale was a dramatic, almost romantic moment. But now what? Where are they even running to? The scene felt like the ending of The Graduate, a moment of elation immediately followed by, what do we do now? Could Season 3 turn into a hostage thriller, with Mark and Helly refusing to leave the office, essentially erasing their outie selves until their demands are met? Or will they find a way to outmaneuver both their outie selves and Lumen, using what little they know to shift the balance of power? And then there's Gemma. What will she do on the outside without Mark? She was left stranded at the exit door, but hopefully she makes it out safely. Could she team up with Devon and Ms. Kobold to expose Lumen's secrets? Or will she take a more underground approach, strategically working behind the scenes? Either way, it's hard to imagine her doing nothing. Speaking of complicated relationships, who are we even shipping now? Season 2's 7th episode made it clear just how deep outie Mark and Gemma's connection was. Their reunion was brief but powerful. At the same time, it's easy to see why Mark turned his back on Gemma and chose to stay inside with Helly, the only love he's ever known. So, do we even want Gemma to rescue Mark if it means Mark and Helly's relationship is doomed? After everything Gemma went through to escape, she now has to live without her husband, just like he had to live without her. It's a complicated situation, to say the least. That brings us to an even bigger question. Do we even want Mark to reintegrate anymore? Reintegration was presented as a way for Mark to escape Lumen by merging his innie and outie selves, but the process was messy and unpredictable. Mark barely survived it. And what if a reintegrated Mark is more outie than innie? Would that essentially erase Mark? In rooting for reintegration, are we unknowingly condemning Mark to death? And what about Helena's obsession with Mark? He found himself in a bizarre love triangle this season. Not only did he develop feelings for Helly, but his outie counterpart was also being pursued by Helena. Things even got uncomfortably weird during Episode 4's Ordbo outing. Will Helena's fixation play a bigger role in Season 3? Now that Mark is holed up inside Lumen with Helly, could Lumen remotely switch Helly into Helena, using her to spy on Mark and sabotage his plans? We've seen them override consciousness before. If Helena were to pose as Helly to gain Mark's trust, that would be a wild twist. Then there's Irving. Will he and John Turturro return? The MDR team being permanently broken up is a tough pill to swallow. Irving was fired from Lumen, and his outie was put on a train out of town by Bert, possibly never to return. So does this mean John Turturro's time on the show is over? There's been no confirmation, but it's hard to imagine the story moving forward without him. Ideally, Irving could team up with Gemma, Devon, and Ms. Kobold to lead an effort against Lumen from the outside. And what about the numbers? If Mark was refining numbers tied to Gemma's mind, then whose numbers were Helly, Irving, and Dylan refining? Were they also manipulating Gemma's consciousness? Or are there other test subjects trapped on the testing floor, each corresponding to the files the other three were working on? It seems unlikely that Gemma is the only one. Speaking of which, why does Gemma have 25 innies? Cold Harbor was the last one. What makes 25 so significant? Could this number hint at something deeper within Lumen's experiments? Then there's the final scene. Mark and Helly running through Lumen's halls is set to Mel Torme's Windmills of Your Mind, a song best known from the 1968 movie The Thomas Crown Affair. That film tells the story of a bank robber who outsmarts an investigator even after she falls for him. Was this an intentional parallel? Could Mark and Helly be like McQueen and Dunaway? Two people doomed to never get a happy ending because of who they are. Or is Gemma the Dunaway figure, desperately trying to hold on to Mark while he insists on staying inside Lumen? Finally, Mr. Milchick. What did he really learn from his experiences in Season 2? He was promoted to manager of the severed floor, but his loyalty to Lumen started to crack. Those unsettling paintings clearly rattled him. He fell back into company man mode by the finale, but could his evolution continue in Season 3? Maybe he'll even join Mark and Helly in their fight against Lumen. Workers unite? Oh, and of course, what the hell is up with the goats? Meeting sweet-faced Emil was a highlight, and thankfully he survived. But the entire goat situation at Lumen is still puzzling. A whole department dedicated to raising goats just to sacrifice them to Kier. There's got to be more to this. One thing is certain, there's a lot to look forward to in Season 3. What do you think? Got your own theories? Drop them in the comments and let's dive into this mystery together. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.